It is true that man needs someone who is loyal and loves one unconditionally, but the person who is loyal and loves one unconditionally must suffer the pain of their loved one's infidelity. If you would like to stay tuned, click on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon before starting my nightmare. This is my ex-wife Elizabeth, 28 years of age, and myself Chris, 35 years of age. There is a time when we are kind of couple who always had a positive impact on the people around us. There was no doubt that we were the best and the most famous couple in the society at that time. There are people who appreciate, while there are others who curse because they are jealous. During her early years, Elizabeth struggled to become an actress, and I worked as a stuntman in films for action scenes. As I recall, we met during a filming of a movie in which she played the role of a friend of the main character in the film. After seeing her for the first time, I fell in love with her, and I was very smitten. I thought at first that she wouldn't be serious about me, but I was surprised to know that when we met, our chemistry was instantaneous. Due to this, we became good friends, and as a result, we became very close. As soon as we met backstage, we began meeting one another. It was a very lucky day for me. On the same day that I also got the opportunity to act in a movie, I played a minor role, but still it was the first time I had a chance to act on screen for the first time in my life. I was a stuntman who had a very handsome life. I had a luxury car, a house, and a lot of contacts in the industry and a kind of luxury lifestyle. Perhaps that was the reason why she became interested in me at the first place. Then on the weekends, we started meeting up for lunches and dinners as well. In her career, as she was struggling, but I was a successful stuntman in my own profession and was satisfied by the money that I earned. Originally, Elizabeth was from a small village in the countryside. In order to cover her living expenses, she was working part-time at a restaurant to earn enough money to support herself. In spite of the fact that I was in love with her, I did not tell her, since I thought she had a lot of pressure on her and she was aspiring to become an actress. So I did not dare ask her for marriage because in the industry it is not a good thing for girls to get married. The other night she called me in the midnight and told me that she had quit her job at the restaurant a while ago and no longer has work. She does not have food and she has no money to pay her rent, and she asked if I could get her a job. I suddenly went to her house and brought some food with me. My heart went out to her and I felt very sorry for her. It was such a difficult situation for a young girl. She was in a mess when I found her, and I gave her food and I told her that everything would be fine. I really did not want to leave her like that at night, so I stayed at her place that night. Then I am not sure how we kissed since she was not okay, so I think it would be a good way for her to release her stress if she kissed me. I told her that she should come with me and live with me in my house, and I invited her. It was also the case for me that I lived alone. At that time, I felt that it would be a great time for me to tell her about my feelings and to ask her for a marriage proposal. My whole story was told to her, as she told me she was going through some difficult times right now and that's why she needed some time, but she also said that she had something in her heart for me. It was finally the next day that I finally gathered up all her luggage and got her safely to my house. The only thing that needed to be done was for her to relax. I told her that she should not do any part-time work. My home was her home to live in, and whenever she needed something, she just had to inform me. It took her a while to agree to this, as at first she refused it. The only thing I told her was to concentrate all of her efforts on her acting career. She got a few roles in movies after a few weeks, but they were just supportive roles. Nevertheless, she was at least trying to do something. We were living together now, and she was also more relaxed now, just because I was always there to support the love of my life whenever she needed me. Over time, she was able to get more work in the industry, but she still wanted to do the role of the main character. After 7 months of being together, we somehow managed to get married. It was now official that we were a family. I was very happy as we arranged a very big party where I invited everyone, like my friends from the industry, my friends from society, and all the people I know. Everyone was very happy for us and appreciated our couple so much. People have commented on the fact that we both looked like angels when we were together. It was not long after we got married that we became a very famous couple in a very short period of time. Having struggled with getting into the film industry, she now has the goal of portraying a strong woman in the film as she attempts to break into the industry. It was clear that she was working hard and that I also working well on the day-to-day basis. During all that, one day I went to look for her and found her crying. In her own words, she was fed up with her life. Even though she has been battling in the film industry for several years, she has never been able to become a star, according to her. I was with her at the time and I told her to relax and give me some time and I can do something for her. It wasn't possible for me to see her tears, so I started using my contacts in the industry to get her work in a film. After some time, one of my friends who was a filmmaker was willing to get her an audition and he gave her the time to do so. The director of the movie was not a big name in the industry who was making small movie project. However, in any case, I informed Elizabeth and brought her to the audition. My friend took her audition and he made sure to let me know that she was doing great, but that he needs something else as well, so he cannot cast her in the movie right away. It was my thought that she would be upset if I told her what had happened. On that day, we went home and told Elizabeth that the director would inform us in 2 days' time. I was aware about the truth, but I wanted to watch her in the main character. The next day, I went to the director and requested him to cast her in the film. I literally begged him to cast Elizabeth in the movie, but he refused. Somehow he was persuaded and he agreed. I was very happy and I was on my way to tell her the good news when my automobile met with the accident on the road. The situation was much more serious than expected. I had a fractured legs and ribs. Elizabeth was sitting beside me in the hospital, crying when I found myself in the hospital. As I woke and told her the news, she was very happy, but also very concerned about my situation. As a result of my condition, I was not able to sit properly or speak clearly. During the time that my doctor was taking my tests, he examined my whole body and he stated that I had a very severe injury to my spine that could be treated, but it would take a lot of time, even for several years. The bad news for me was the fact that I had to finish a few scenes that I had signed, but unfortunately I was not in the right state to do so. It was the worst condition I have ever been in my life. Now the problem was that Elizabeth was not leaving me alone because she had been signed by the director and was required to go to work for her movie. However, I insisted that she go and do her job as soon as possible. Afterwards, she agreed that she was going to start making her first movie. Her happiness made me very happy. Whenever she finishes a shoot, she always visits the hospital as soon as she is done. Her project was completed after 4 months of hard work and dedication. I was still in the hospital, but the doctors allowed me to go home after a while. Treatment, however, was still going on at the time. The entire time I was at home, I was in bed. The best thing happened that the movie in which Elizabeth had worked was successful. With every passing day, Elizabeth received calls from various production houses to cast her in the projects they were working on. As a result, she refused to accept them because she wanted to be with me and take care of me. There was always a lot of care that she gave to me. The food was always delivered on time and she always stayed with me. With the passage of time, she had to go back to the work since our savings were drawing to a close. As a result, she began 2 projects at the same time and spent a lot of time working on them. And all the while, she hired a male nurse for me who always stayed at home with me to assist me in taking care of myself. The next project that she worked on was a success. There have been 3 months since we worked together, and for the next project she had to work night shifts, which was fine with me since I trusted her. As a result, her attitude towards me began to change. In the past, she would always call me once or twice a day and ask me about my health during her shooting. But in this new project, she does not have time for me, as she does not have time to talk to me that often. During the course of 1 month, I can remember that she did not even send me a single text message. At that time, I did not pay any attention to that. She began to have lunch and dinner with her co-actors so that she could get to know them better. In addition, she did not ask me what I ate during the day. It is true that I get food from the male nurse because he has become a friend of mine and I've begun paying him more so he can also arrange food for me. There was time passing and One more thing I noticed was that whenever she came home from work, every time she talked to me in a very rude manner, as if she was fed up with me because of me. When I talked with her, she came over and sat with me for a while. In her words, she said that I have to do a lot of work and I'm not like you who are unemployed. For me, it was a very painful experience. This was the first time she had said something like this. Then she left the house for saying these words. I was able to see from the window that a guy came in a black car and picked her up and left with her because of the bad behavior that I've experienced. I thought came into my mind that it was possible that she had found someone else to date. I was really annoyed with her and she wanted me out of her life. During the time, I was very upset, and the male nurse, who is my now friend, explained that he wanted to tell me something that I saw Mem Elizabeth was with a boy a few days ago. Though I wasn't quite sure about them, or maybe they were just friends. In my opinion, that makes me doubt the validity of the statement. Having thought about it for a while, I started to feel curious. The thoughts are flying around in my head like a tornado. In the evening, Elizabeth returned home. Even though she started to sleep in another room, when she came back, she madly slept. In order to find out what was going on, I thought I should do something about it. Having searched on the internet about the best private investigator in the town, I called him and requested him to come home with me as I was unable to walk. As soon as he arrived, I explained the situation to him. In order to find out what was going on, he began investigating whenever she was doing something bad. I told him to make sure that he recorded her acts. In the morning of the next day, Elizabeth told me that she had been working for many days, so she had been in need of a break. So she was going to Miami with a few of her friends to enjoy the vacation. The fact that she did not care about me meant that instead of spending time with me, she wanted to spend the holidays with her friends. However, after 3 days, she went to Miami with her friends and spent a few days there. During the investigation, I informed the investigator that she was going to Miami for a vacation. Behind her, he was making his way. In some way, I gave him the details about her and that I had the capacity to provide. One day later, he called me and told me that my suspicion was correct and that she had been having an affair with the guy who was also her co-actor. According to him, she was in Miami just with him at that time. I don't think she has any friends. He was the son of a big filmmaker who had a lot of money. The reason why Elizabeth was with him was evident, and it was obvious why she was with him. She was with him because the boy was the son of a filmmaker, so it was a great opportunity for her. However, I asked him if he had recorded her at all. According to him, he took only a few pictures but did not record any of them. I told him to record when they were having candy, so he did. Since I did not get a chance to record till now, my investigator said he would try to record this night. The first 2 nights, he tracked them, but on the 3rd night, he got a chance to record them while having the candy in the middle of the night. I told him to come back and hand over the recordings. The recordings were given to me by him when he came back. When I watched my wife sleeping with someone, it was a very painful moment for me. As a result, I was able to survive that and decided to leak the video online. Due to the fact that she was very famous because of her work, it was the right time to leak her video. In order to upload that intimate video, I created a fake account and uploaded it from my account. On the internet, it spread like a wildfire. There was also a possibility that she might lose her upcoming projects as well. By chance, that is what happened. In a state of tense, she came home the next day. As far as I know, she did not talk to me at all. Then she went into the room and locked the door. As a result of the leaked video of hers, she was facing a lot of criticism. After this, I arranged the divorce papers and told her to leave my house, since I did not want to live with a disloyal wife in my house.